And it's spinning. There we go. We are live. So how's it going, Micheal?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. I see you brought us a special guest today.
I brought a friend.
Who's
Bring
your
a friend Wednesday.
Bring your friend Wednesday. Nice.
He's my only friend, I promise. I only got one.
I hope that's not true, but...
And I have to pay him to be my friend, too.
Yeah.
This is Garrett. Garrett is I train with Garrett, so for Whip Your Ass Wednesday, I wanted to bring someone in who knows a thing or two about fitness, and can share some stuff with us about what we can do at home to make sure we're making sure our bodies are in peak physical condition.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Garrett.
Hi. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. We hear this is your first time, so we're
first podcast. But so my name's Garrett Winkleman. I'm a certified personal trainer through NASM and CSEP. So CSEP is the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiologists.
Okay.
And then I've been doing personal training for 8 years. I graduated in 8 with honors, the 2-year personal training program. And I've just been kind of running my own company since then. And I work out of a private studio in Sherwood Park called Trueform.
Are you still working out of there right now, or are you working at home?
I'm working at home since March 14th-ish, I think. So it was kind of a weird thing because everything started happening, and then that Monday of that week, about half of my clients texted me and said, we're gonna practice our social distancing. We're not gonna come in. I was like, yeah, no, I completely understand that. It's probably better for everybody. But then I had about another half that were like, we'll still come in. I don't think it's that serious, right? Kind of the same way the public is looking at it, right?
Right.
Kind of split down the middle. At least at the beginning, it was split down the middle. And then, so we did, my clients got cut in half. And then literally Tuesday night, we all met at the gym. And the government said, gyms are shutting down. We met, all the trainers met, and we said, we're going to have to shut her down too. And then, so Wednesday, I woke up depressed, I guess you could say.
That sounds like the rest of us.
Yeah, it was a weird feeling because, you're out of work and you didn't do anything to, deserve to be out of work. And I've worked since I was 15 every day, and all of a sudden I'm stuck at home. So it was depressing, that's for sure.
Well, it sounds like you're starting to get this turned around, though. So you're starting to do remote workouts with some of your clients. Yeah.
So I've been using Zoom and been firing that up, and it's going pretty well. It was a little bit confusing at first, I guess, because I'm not too tech savvy, and my computer, I have a MacBook, but I bought it when I started training, and so it's 10 years old, and like some of the latest updates it can't even do anymore. And then so I was doing it this morning, and
you have a vintage Mac.
Yeah. So my client was like, yeah, you can do these like virtual backgrounds and stuff. And so I was going through the settings and I clicked it, and it was like, your Intel processor is not fast enough. Like, oh no.
It all sounds like they're insulting your intelligence, not your computer, by telling you that. But
but it's going well, and having something to do and look forward to, and then even being social with people while still practicing social distancing is helping a lot, right? So I'm not always talking to a 6-year-old kid at home all the time.
Right.
So
yeah, that's awesome. So with people right now, like I'm finding people are starting to go a bit stir crazy, and like even my brain is starting to go to the point of like, oh, I should go shopping or I should go do this. And I'm like, Angela, you're not allowed to do this. So how can we help people to be a little bit less stir crazy at home?
Well, I mean, there's lots of things you can do, right? Even with tasks around the house, when you have like your laundry and stuff that you're doing, if your laundry's on separate floors, you could say, you know what, I'm gonna split the load up into 2 loads. I'm gonna take half the load out of the dryer. I'm gonna run it upstairs and run it back down, and then I'm gonna take the other half of the load out of the dryer. I'm gonna run it upstairs and run it back down. Do things like that when you're sweeping or anything, right? You could try to sweep it into one pile on one side of the room. Just try to make your tasks last a little bit longer, I think would help, right? And then I've found personally, because we go and do our groceries, and when everybody's out and about, your food, nobody's snacking because everybody's either at school or blah, blah, blah. So you buy a bag of chips to snack on. But then when everybody's stuck at home, that same bag of chips is gone
Yeah.
4 hours because you're like, oh, well, I did this. I'm just going to grab a couple chips because I don't feel like making a big meal right now. So that was a struggle.
This sounds like a personal story that you're telling.
Sounds like a personal problem, Garrett.
And then especially because everybody's buying groceries to last for like a week or 2 weeks right now, right? So you buy, a couple bags of chips to last you. You're like, okay, I'll have, a bag of chips every 4 days and spread it out or something like that, right? And then, your snacking just goes off the deep end in a bad way. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experiencing that.
You're probably not.
But I'd say the main thing is try to make your tasks last a little bit longer. And, as far as working out, there's lots you can do at home. I'm sure we'll get more into that as the podcast goes on.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm finding right now, like if someone wants to order exercise equipment, if you look on Amazon, you can't get anything until like May 7th. I was lucky. I saw this coming down the pike because my assistant is in Croatia and she was already in lockdown like 3 weeks before we were. And I was like, I'm going to get myself a stationary bike because at least that's something easy to do at home and doesn't take, like, even if I'm feeling sad or not feeling creative, then I can just hop on the bike and get exercise. But a lot of people now can't get access to that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit trickier, especially if someone's not used to self-starting with their workouts and exercise at home, right?
Yeah. So I know actually one of my clients too was asking me about all the stuff they should get for their house. And I was like, well, I mean, the easiest thing are dumbbells, right? Get a couple dumbbells. And then 2 days later, she texted me back and she's like, Edmonton is sold out of dumbbells. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there's things you can do, right? Like everybody's drinking milk and whatnot. And you can keep your milk cartons once you're done and just fill them up with water. And you essentially have a homemade dumbbell. Okay. And one of the best things about being stuck at home is if you feel like you're looking ridiculous by the way you're working out, nobody can see you, right? You're at home. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. Any type of resistance, like it doesn't matter. You can skip rope without a rope. Just jump. You'll probably break your record for the amount of times that you've skipped rope in a row, right?
Yeah.
You don't need it. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it looks because you're at home, but you're getting your heart rate up. You're working your lungs, so that's one of the biggest benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Skipping imaginary rope. I love it.
Right? Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny when you started talking about looking ridiculous at home, I thought you were going to comment on people's lovely outfits that everyone is wearing. Or they expected themselves to be like super badass during the apocalypse, and really they're just wearing their pajamas. So
yeah, sweatpants, nonstop. Yeah.
I think we should call it from now on the pajama apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much wearing pajama pants on my bottom, so I look good from the waist up, and that's about it.
Yeah, we had a big Zoom with just on the weekend with some friends, right? Just for some social to help keep everyone's spirits up. And it was kind of the same thing. Everybody looked good from the top up, but if someone had to stand up and walk away, you're like, ooh.
No, not judgmental at all. We love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when people are starting to think about like what they could be doing at home, do you recommend they do the same thing every day? Or are you thinking they should be like segmenting, okay, from nipples up, I do that workout today, and then next week from nipples to waistline and waistline down? Or how do you suggest they segment that out?
Yeah, so I think if you have, if you're limited with your equipment and whatnot, I think a good, like all you really need is a good 30 minutes, and you can do that 3 to 5 times a week. And I think with at-home workouts and bodyweight workouts, the best thing to do is just kind of keep it full body and introduce a lot of core into the workout, right? So, I made a workout the other day that was essentially based around a plank. So what would happen is you would start in your push-up position, right, in a nice push-up position, and then from there you would just do 50 shoulder taps. So all you do is from your push-up position, you reach up with your left hand and you touch your right shoulder. Then you go vice versa. You just keep going back and forth until you touch your shoulders 50 times. And then from there, you kind of do mountain climbers, right? So you drive your knees into your chest. You do 40 mountain climbers. So you kind of count down. And then from there, you drop down into a plank onto your forearms, and you do 30 plank jacks, which is essentially a jumping jack, except you're in the plank position, but you're still hopping your feet out and back in, out and back in. So that's 30. And then you can pop back up onto your hands and do 20 kind of jumping knee drives. So it would look like the bottom of a burpee when you're getting up from the burpee. You hop and bring your knees under your chest while you're still in that push-up position. Then you hop back out so you're straight again. And then once you've done 20 of those, you do 10 push-ups, and that's the end of the set. And that's a great way to kind of work your core, work your arms, and you're still, getting the whole body involved. Because I don't know if anybody's tried to hold the plank for about 5 minutes, but it's not just your core that hurts. It's your shoulder. If you're using your glutes, like people might not think you're using your glutes, but just engage them. Engage every muscle you have in your body. And by the end of that, you do that 3 times. It takes like 20 minutes-ish, depending on your fitness or whatever. And you can adjust anything, right? If you're having a tough time staying in that push-up position, all you have to do is drop your knees down to the ground and still try to maintain a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. But it feels about half the weight is gone off of your core, and then you'll be able to go a lot longer, because everybody has different physical abilities, no matter if you've been working out for 10 years or you're using this, social isolation to start getting back into fitness.
I feel like you should probably demonstrate this for us.
Well, is this going to be like live on video as well?
Yeah.
Oh, I can demonstrate. Do you want to, are people going to watch it after?
No, you should do it now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can demonstrate it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, you guys will just have to let me know. Does that look about right if I get down here?
Yep, that looks awesome.
That's good. Okay, so your shoulder taps just here. Okay, so you're going to do this so you hit 50. And then your mountain climbers.
I think you should do 50.
You start with one knee and just go back and forth here. Okay, so you hit 40. And then you go drop down into a plank.
That wasn't 40. That was like 4. Come on, dude.
Demos. Mike knows this is a training. All we do is 2 to 3 reps, and then we make you do the rest. Plank jacks, hop out, hop back in. Okay, you do that till you hit 30. Then your burpee knee drives, you're here. Now when you do these, you don't want to keep your hips high. You want to stay nice and low, so you draw everything into a nice little ball. Then hop back out. And then your push-ups.
Again, he's not doing all of them.
It's a modified version.
That's what it's like when I work out with him too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do 2, and you do 10 or 100 times more than me.
Exactly. Right.
That's what you do with your dancers too, though.
Honestly, most of the time I do the dancing with them, because I'm like, I might as well get my workout at the same time. But yes, good job letting me put you on the spot. That was quite entertaining. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. That's one variation of many workouts you can do, right?
Yeah.
But, so and then everybody should warm up too. You shouldn't just hop right into it. So you should spend about 5-10 minutes kind of warming up, and that would be again, like jumping without a skip rope or running on the spot, or if you have stairs in your house, doing 5 to 10 flights of stairs, something to get the blood flowing. Some big arm circles helps. Whatever you plan on working out or exercising that day, you want to warm up the joints.
Especially as we get older, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because Angela's so old.
I'm turning 40 in 4.5 weeks now. So
You are the oldest on this call.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
The good thing is, though, I don't think your birthday counts if you don't have anybody to celebrate it with, right? So next year you can turn 40 if we're still in isolation.
I know. Well, honestly, I wanted to go and swim with the piggies in the Bahamas. Do you guys know about the piggies in the Bahamas?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's these very famous pictures of these piggies in this beautiful blue water, and apparently they were dropped off by someone just to die, I guess. And there was a restaurant that kept dumping food off the shore, and so the piggies actually trained themselves to swim. So they would swim out, grab the food, and come back to the shore. And so there's this herd of swimming piggies, and piggies aren't supposed to be able to swim. So you can go and swim with the piggies in the Bahamas.
That's awesome.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah, and they're all there's ones with pink. There's pink ones. There's pink and black ones. There's black ones. There's quite a variety out there. So yeah.
I like it.
But alas,
Bahamas
the
right
COVID virus took away my dream.
now. For now.
For now.
Just swim with the pigs. Those are some serious life aspirations, Angela.
I think it would be amazing. We're supposed to have fun in our lives, so yes.
Some people want to swim with the dolphins. Some people want to swim with the pigs.
Yeah, I want to swim with
First
the
time
pigs.
I've heard that one, that's for sure.
I don't want to sleep with. I don't want to sleep with the fishes, but I want to swim with the piggies. We have one comment here. My friend is like, so inquiring minds want to know, did Angela manage to get up at 6:30 for a walk?
Oh.
Michael, did you get a text message at 6:30 this morning?
I did not get a text message at 6:30, so I'm going to guess that means that you snoozed for an hour and a half and got out at 8.
I snoozed for only 50 minutes today instead of 60. So I was like, this is an improvement.
Progress.
So yes, bad Angela, she did not get up at 6:30 this morning. I was really proud of myself though, because at 6:30 I was like, I'm totally going to get up. And then I was like, oh, just 10 more minutes. And I didn't do 2-minute increments for my snooze. I made it 10 minutes. So I only snoozed 5 times instead of 32 minutes like yesterday.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
I thought I did really good. No, I know I really didn't do good, but at least it was less. So
that's a good thing to do, is to help hold yourself accountable, is to have somebody that you text or somebody that, you know, will keep you accountable for doing something like a walk or whatever, right? So if you're going to work out, I know I have a group with a couple of my friends, and we message each other almost every day to see who's going to work out today, right? And then if there's like 4 guys that are working out and 1 guy's not, you know, we're all on them. Like, okay, listen, we're all working out today and you're not. Like, what's going on here, right? So it's a good way to keep everybody kind of motivated and to keep yourself engaged, right?
yeah, I need some better friends apparently.
Now it's my fault that she's not getting out of bed.
It totally is. I blame you.
You should be texting her, Michael.
Yeah.
Tell her to get up and go for a walk.
Yeah. I was actually last night, I was like, I'm going to take my phone with me and I'm going to like video me taking a walk at 6:30 this morning. I'm going to be so good. And then sleep and snoozing. And well, I was having the dream about the train where you were on the tall people's train and I was on the short people's train. So, you know.
That's because I was up and moving and you were still asleep. There's the meaning to your dream.
Yeah. I would be taller if I got up at 6:30. Is that what the moral of the story is?
Sure. Yeah, we'll run with that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think more or less. Short people are lazy. Well, that's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
I've never seen that article, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, what's the science behind that, Michael, since you like the science behind everything? No science?
Sorry, I cut out.
You totally did.
I'm back now.
This is Michael's favorite thing to do, is like freeze in
Yeah.
funny spots. Especially when he's going to say something super important, he just likes to freeze and create suspense as to what he was actually going to say.
Okay, he does the same thing when we work out, and I tell him to do something, and he just stands there.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
I need you to get a video of that, Garrett, and send it to us, because I think that'd be pretty fun.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Yeah, Michael's like, oh, I can't do it. I'm frozen.
I'm done.
Oh, I love it. So what kind of clients do you work with? Do you work with like all different ages, all different fitness levels, or do you have kind of a niche of people that you work with a lot?
Yeah, so I've trained everybody from like 9-year-old hockey teams. I get the whole hockey team in, and I'll run them through a workout, which is actually probably the most challenging part of the job, is trying to train 29-year-olds at one time.
You don't have to do anything at one time is a challenge.
Yeah. So, and then, I've had collegiate rugby athletes that I've trained, and then just a big part of your general public. And then I've also had clients who are in their late 70s who have had, they have chronic heart disease, and then they've had a couple strokes, and their main thing is just to come in and get moving and kind of make sure that their joints still work. So I have a big variety of clients.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with, over 8 years of working as a personal trainer, right? So
for sure. Well, we all have these like lovely, like a lot of people have smart watches or some sort of thing that can be monitoring them.
yeah.
So if like what I'm noticing is when I'm on my bicycle, now it's really hard to get my heart rate up to where it was, even though I'm like increasing my resistance. So I'm getting in better shape. But for people who are like starting out, we know I don't know if the math on heart rate and stuff is still applicable the way that we used to do it. Like in university, we had to calculate it. Or if there's new methods of people kind of figuring out where their target heart rate is, how they can keep increasing their fitness. Because a lot of people right now are like, okay, we're going to be stuck inside. Might as well set some goals to be in better shape. So what can they be doing to monitor if they're actually in better shape aside from what might be happening on the scale?
Yeah, so I mean, heart rate's kind of a tricky thing, like especially, for the general public who's not used to working with their certain heart rates, right? Like if you were to ask most people what their resting heart rate is, they probably wouldn't know, right? Like the smart watches are great for that, just because a lot of them now keep your heart rate throughout the entire day while you're sleeping. They also keep your steps, right? Step goals right now, being locked in a house, step goals are, important. But as far as, judging if you're getting in better shape, there's a couple different variables. One of them would be, time, right? So if you do a workout one week and you try hard and it takes you 25 minutes, right? Try that same workout again in a couple weeks and time it. See how long it takes you. If your time's getting better, you're getting more fit, right? So you can do the same thing. Resting heart rate is a great way. So the lower your resting heart rate is, generally speaking, the more fit you are. Okay, so everybody right now that wants to can take their heart rate, and to get your resting heart rate, all you have to do is count your pulse for 15 seconds, but you have to start at 0. So the first beat you feel, count it as 0, and then go 1, 2, 3, 15 seconds, times it by 4, you get your resting heart rate per minute. Okay, and then so you keep track of that. Say you do it every Monday morning, right? Every Monday morning you track what your resting heart rate is. Over time, if it gets lower, you're becoming more fit. If it's going up, you might want to think about working out a little harder.
And not just doing 4 reps, we want to do like 40 reps like we're actually supposed to do.
Yeah, you want to do the entire, don't work out like a personal trainer. Work out like the client.
Okay, awesome. I think next time we have him on, we will actually do the workout and he'll just like yell at us.
Yeah, we could 100% do a workout on here. That'd be fun.
Okay, awesome. I like it. Okay, so that's the resting heart rate part of it. So then if they're like, say they're trying to push themselves further, like how much should they be increasing, how hard they're pushing
so
to stay safe and not injure themselves?
There's a scale that's, called the perceived exertion scale, and it's just basically out of 1 to 10. 10 would be something like if you sprinted 400 meters. So if you sprint 400 meters as hard as you can, your body kind of runs out of energy about 300 meters of the way in. And the last 100 meters, you are absolutely struggling to finish. Your whole body lights on fire. And then you cross that finish line and all you want to do is lay down and possibly throw up. That would be a 10 on the, perceived exertion scale. A 1 would be like sitting up from in bed, right? So that would be a 1.
That sounds like a 10 for Angela.
I was laughing because you said light yourself on fire. I was like, if I do this, I'm just going to burst into flames. That's really where my head went.
Yeah, so if you're Angela, a 10 would be getting up on 1 snooze. And
I've got people volunteering on here to text me at 6:30 in the morning.
That's
Your phone's going to get blown up tomorrow morning. That's perfect.
Yeah. I'll have to make sure I don't put it on like sleepy at night so that I actually get all these text messages that'll drive me insane and get me out of bed.
So as far as the perceived scale goes, if you're operating in between a 6 and a 7, that would be a fair effort, right? You'd be roughly at about, if you think about it in terms of your heart rate max, and an easy heart rate max is just 220 minus your age. And then there's a window of plus or minus 10 in there, right? So for someone who's 20 years old, their heart rate max would be around 200 beats per minute, and then plus minus 10. So it could be 190 or 210, depending on their genetics. So that's the kind of window. And then if you take the perceived exertion scale, just kind of go with it. 10 would be 100% of your heart rate max. 8 would be 80% of your heart rate max, somewhere in there. Okay, so you want to work in between 6 and 8 to increase fitness. And then if you're going above 8, you're doing something like speed interval training for a marathon or something. So there's no, unless you have a specific event or you're trying to drastically increase your fitness levels, then you kind of work above the 8. Like the whole orange theory and stuff, that is their kind of their orange, the orange theory, your orange zone is in that kind of area, right? So if you hop on a bike and you ride it for 20 minutes and your heart rate is, let's say 150, and you feel like you're around a 6 or 7, then you can just increase it, try to get to 155 or 160 beats per minute. But you don't want to go too fast, too hard out of the gates. So, because a lot of people, for the general public, your body has kind of like a governor, like a car does, where it won't let you go past a certain speed limit, right? So for people who aren't, physically in the shape of their life, their body will shut down before their heart rate can actually meet its max. Mm-hmm. So you got to, remember those kind of variables. That's why the perceived exertion scale is good, right? And there's a thing you can do called the talk test. And we used to do it in school in NATE, and it was, you'd have to say a sentence 3 times in a row, and the amount of times you had to stop in the sentence to breathe would be the higher level you are on your exertion scale, right? So we used to say, I work out every day and twice a day on Sundays. So then you'd say it 3 times. I work out every day and twice a day on Sundays. I work out every day and twice a day on Sundays. I work out every day and twice a day on Sundays. I made it through all 3 of that without having to take a breath. But the harder you're working, the more breaths you have to take. So you can kind of use that to gauge on how hard you're working if you don't have access to a heart rate monitor or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's funny.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought, sorry.
So if you don't have access to a heart rate monitor, you can also take your own heart rate. But the thing is, the difference between taking your resting heart rate and taking your exercise heart rate is your exercise heart rate you take for 10 seconds and you start at 1. So, and then you multiply it by 6. So you don't start at 0 and you don't count it for 15 seconds.
Cool. It's funny because like when I'm on the bicycle, like when I do my kickboxing workout, I can get my heart rate up to like 177. I check and I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm working that hard, but I can get it really high. Whereas the bicycle, when it's repetitive, like 155, it seems to be where I can get it up to.
Have you biked a lot, or are you just kind of getting into it?
Well, I've always been super fit. Like I run a dance company and stuff. So it's not like I've lost my fitness, but I just find like the kickboxing one, because I'm distracted and whatnot, I feel like it goes higher without me thinking about it. Whereas on the bicycle, maybe it's just because it's a little bit more boring that it seems harder to actually get it higher than the 155.
Yeah. Also, another thing is the bicycle is just your lower body, right? As opposed to kickboxing and dancing is full body. So you generally speaking, you work a lot harder.
Okay.
But going back to that, there's different modes of working out, right? So you working out on a bike is different than running and vice versa. So there'll be people who are better at biking than they are at running. Right. I myself, I run quite a bit. And I remember when we were in school, we had to do VO2 max tests. And that's, just testing the oxygen level in your lungs compared to, at different activity levels. And your heart rate max goes along with it as well because it is a max test. Now, I ran a lot, and my VO2 max while I was running was like 63, and I got up to 198 beats per minute before I had to stop the test because I would have passed out. And then you do the same test on a bike, and my bike VO2 max was like almost 10 points lower than my running, and my heart rate max only got to like 180 maybe 178, and so it was, but I'm not as efficient on a bike as I am as running. So it depends what you do to get that, your true heart rate or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Right. It was funny. I found this video with this dude who was training for a marathon. I think he's either in Scotland or Ireland, but he set up a track in his backyard, like a 300 by 300 feet by 300 feet yard or something. And he ran the whole marathon in his backyard, going in circles. Yeah.
One of the people I follow just did a treadmill run. They had to run 6 kilometers every hour on the hour for as long as they could. And she ran like 74 kilometers. It was like 11 or 12 hours or something. And then, but there was a couple people who went for like 2 days straight. So their sleeping increments were like 25 minutes. Just,
wow.
Yeah, crazy. But I don't recommend, doing that.
No?
Well, you can. It's a good challenge. But it would be tough. That's for sure.
So here's a question, and it kind of ties in what you're just saying, is you talked a bunch of things of what we should be doing about monitoring heart rates and some stay at work, things we can do at home to be working out. What are some things we should be avoiding?
That's a good question. So things to avoid.
Besides the Doritos.
Like your grocery list is going to be one of the most important things, because what you're eating, especially when you're not working out or being active, has a lot more impact on your body. But, things to avoid would be like Netflix binge watching, something like that, right? Where, when your Netflix pops up and tells you, are you still watching this? You should take that as a sign to maybe go do something. Or, you could limit yourself to say, like, okay, I can watch, 3 episodes of something as long as I do some physical activity during one of them, right? Mm-hmm. So turn the Netflix on and then do a workout in front of the TV or something like that while you watch a show or something like that. So you want to avoid being sedentary or sitting around on the couch for as much as you can. You want to avoid, like I know for me, when I stopped working and that week at home, I'm an active person and I was depressed. And the thing that really got me out of that was, starting to run again. I have a treadmill in my garage, so I'm lucky that way. So, but again, with 4 kids at home, my wife, it's hard to just be like, okay, I'm going to go hop out here for an hour. So you watch all the kids, I'm going to run. But you got to find the time to do it. So for me, the time to do it is like 9:00 at night. But again, I don't have much to do the next day except repeat the same thing. So, things to avoid are coming up with reasons to not do it. And then, your grocery list, try to stay off the binge watching. You want to make sure that you're still having social interaction with people too, because that helps keep you motivated. So, text your friends, call your family, try to join in on some kind of exercise group that, does it remotely. There's, I know I'm looking at starting a boot camp through Zoom. Mm-hmm. And, it'll be on Saturday mornings. It'll be that type of thing. You can do it with your kids, your family, whoever you want. You just log in, you're home. So you want to look for things like that. You don't want to just take the social quarantine and isolation and just take it as you have to shut everything down and not talk to anybody and keep it in your house, right? You want to try to keep doing things that you would be doing on a normal basis if you weren't in isolation.
Absolutely. Micheal, do you have any final questions before we head out today?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Well, Garrett, thank you for showing us your workout.
Yeah, no problem.
Tease you.
Let me know. I'll come on whenever you guys want. We can do more. I can give more home workout ideas. Just before we go, I think a great home workout is honestly if you just pick 5 exercises that you want to do, just body weight exercises, push-ups, squats, lunges, sit-ups, and a plank. Just pick 5 and then just time them, right? You don't worry about your reps. Just do each exercise for a minute and then take a 2-minute break and do that 3 times, and that's 21 minutes, right? And then the good thing about that is if you're doing push-ups and you tire out at 28 seconds, just take a 3 to 5 second break. Let the time keep going. You just want to try to get as many push-ups in that minute as you can. And then if you want to measure your fitness that way, at the end of your set, you could write down you did 37 push-ups in a minute. And then a couple weeks later, do the same workout. And then if you hit 44 push-ups in that minute, you're getting more fit. Things are measurable. Mm-hmm. So, that's just a quick, easy workout to help keep people motivated and going on from there. But there's, lots you can do. And so anytime you guys want me to come back on, just let me know.
Awesome. Yeah. So that goes with our little structure theme for the week too, is like setting up the structure of what you're going to do for your workouts as well as everything else that you're going to do in your day, and starting to figure out what your routine should be, and incorporating fitness into that is a great thing. So
absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Garrett. Thank you, Micheal, for joining too. And we'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.